Quelle langue?
English.
English.
English. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nastayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishaki.
Jai.
Today we will read from verse 17 to verse 20. Just to resituate the context, we already know who is Ambarish Maharaj and how he got cursed by Durvasa Muni, and this is the following pastimes of Durvasa Muni and Ambarish Maharaj offended by Durvasa Muni. Okay. Vasudeve Bhagavati Tatvaktesu Chasadusu Prapto Bhavam Param Vishvam Enedam Lostravat Vismratam. Translation by Sri Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Maharaj Ambarisha was a great devotee of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Vasudev, and of saintly persons who are the Lord's devotees. Because of this devotion, he thought of the entire universe as being as insignificant as a piece of stone. From verse 18 to 29. So we'll recite this verse, just the last portion or all of it.
These are very important shlokas.
So we'll recite all of them. First I do like 3 times. But just
Line by line?
okay.
No, 3 times and then line by line.
Savaimana Krishna Padaravindayor
Savai Mana
Vasamsi Vaikuntha Gunanu Varnane Karau Harer Mandira Marjanantishu Shrutim Chakrachyuta Satkatodaye Mukunda Lingaraya Darsane Darsho Tadvritya Gatra Sparseng Nanga Sangamam Grihanam Chatar Pada Saroja Saurave Srimad Tulasya Rasanam Tadarpite Padau Hare Shetra Padanush Kalpane Siro Rishikesha Pada Vibandane Kamam Chadasye Natu Kamakam Yaya Yato Tatma Sloka Gyanashrayarati. So we can now recite. Savaimana Krishna Padaravindayor
Savai Mana Krishna Padaravindayor
Vachamsi Vaikuntha Gunanu Varnane
Vachamsi Vaikuntha Gunanu Varnane
Karau Harer Mandira Marjanadisu
Karo Hare Mandir Majanadishu
Shrutim Chakrachyuta Satkathodaye
Shruti Chakara Chuta Satkathodaye
Mukunda Lingalaya Darshane Drasau
Mukunda Lingalaya Darshane Risho
Tadvritya Gatra Sparse Nanga Sangamam
Tad Britya Gata Sparshe Anga Sangamam
Grihanam cha tat pada saroja saurave
Grihanam cha Tatpada Saroja Saurave
Srimad Tulasya rasanam tadarpite
Srimad Tulasya Rasanam Tadarpite
Padau Hari Kshetra Padanusharpane
Tado Hare Kshitra Padanusarane
Shiro Rishikesha Padavivandane
Shiro Rishikesha Padavivandane
Kamam Chadasyena tu kama kamyaya
Kamam Chadasyena tu Kamamya
Yatotma sloka janashraya rati
Yatuttamashloka Janashrayarati
Okay.
One of us can it's very long.
Savaimana Krishna Padaravindayo
Savai Mana Krishna Padaravindayo
Vachamsi Vaikuntha Gunanuvarnane
Svacham Sivaikuntha Gunanuvarnani
Karo Hare Mantira Majanadishu
Karo Hare Mandir Marjanadishu
Shrutim Chakarachyuta Satkathodaye
Shrutim Chakara Chuta Satkathodaye
Mukunda Lingalaya Darshane Drisho
Kundalingalaya Darshane Disho
Tadbritya Gatra Sparshinga Sangamam
Tadvitya Gatra Sparshanga Sangamam
Granam Chatatpada Saroja Saurabhe
Grahanam cha tatpada saroja saurave
Srimad Tulasya Rasanam Tadarpite
Srimad Tulasya Rasanam Tadarpite
Padau Hare Kshitra Padanusarpane
Pado Hare Kshetra Padanusarpane
Shiro Rishikesha Padabhivandane
Shiro Rishikesha Padadivandane
Kamam Chadasyena tu Kama Kamyaya
Kamam chadasyena tu kama kamyaya
Yatuttamashloka Janashrayarati
Yatuttamashloka Janashrayarati.
Do we do word by word for all of the verses? Like, as you like. This is too long. Maybe we can just one portion of it. Sa.
Sa
Hey Maharaj Ambarisa.
He Maharaj
Barisha
Bhai indeed.
Vai He
Manaha, his mind.
is mine. Mana is mine.
Krishna Pada Aravindayu.
Krishna Padaravindayo
Fixed upon the two lotus feet of Lord Krishna.
Fixed upon the two lotus feet of Lord Krishna
Vachamsi,
Vachamsi
his words.
His words
Vaikuntha Guna Anuvarnane.
Vaikuntha Guna Anuvarnane
Describing the glories of Krishna.
Describing the glories of Krishna
Karau,
Karao
his two hands.
His two hands
Hare Mandira Marjana Disu.
Hare Mandir Marjana Adishu
In activities like cleansing the temple of Hari, the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
In activities like cleansing the temple of Hari, the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Shrutim,
Shrutim,
his ear.
his ear.
Chakra,
Chakara,
Chakara,
engaged.
engaged. Achyuta,
Achyuta
of or about Krishna,
of or about Krishna
Krishna,
who never fall down.
who never falls down.
Sat Katha Udyaye,
Sat Katha Udaye,
in hearing the transcendental narrations.
in hearing the transcendental narrations.
Mukunda Linga Alaya Darshane,
Mukunda Linga Alaya Darshane,
in seeing the deity and temples and holy dhams of Mukunda.
in seeing the deity and temples of and holy dhams of Mukunda.
Drashau,
Drisha,
his two eyes.
his two eyes.
Tadvritya,
Tadbritya,
of the servants of Krishna.
of the servants of Krishna.
Gatra Sparse,
Gatra Sparshi,
in touching the bodies.
in touching the bodies.
Anga Sangamam,
Anga Sangamam,
contact of his body.
contact of his body.
Grihanam cha,
Grihanam cha,
and his sense of his smell.
and his sense of smell,
Tatpada,
Pada,
of his lotus feet.
of his lotus feet,
Saroja,
Saroja,
of the lotus flower.
of the lotus flower,
Saurave,
Saurave,
in smelling the fragrance.
in smelling the fragrance,
Srimad Tulasya,
Srimad Tulasya,
of the tulasi leaves.
of the tulasi leaves,
Rasanam,
Rasanam,
his tongue.
his tongue,
Tatarpite,
Tat Arpite,
in the prasada offered to the Lord.
in the prasad offered to the Lord,
Padau,
Padao,
his two legs.
his two legs,
Hare,
Hare,
of the personality of Godhead.
of the personality of Godhead,
Kshetra,
Kshetra,
holy place like the temple or Vrindavan in Dwaraka.
holy places like the temple of Vrindavan and Dwaraka,
Pada Sarpane,
Anusarpane,
walking to those places.
walking to those places,
Shira,
Shira,
the head.
the head,
Rishikesha,
Rishikesha,
of Krishna, the master of the senses.
of Krishna, the master of the senses,
Pada Avivandane,
Pada Abhivandane,
in offering obeisances to the lotus feet.
in offering obeisances to the lotus feet,
Kamamcha,
Kamam cha,
and his desires.
and his desires,
Dasye,
Dasye,
in being engaged as a servant.
in being engaged as a servant,
Na,
Na,
to, indeed. Kama Kamyaya,
Kama Kamyaya,
with a desire for sense gratification.
with desire for sense gratification,
Yatha,
Yatha, as
Uttama Sloka Jnana Ashraya.
Uttama Shloka Jana Ashraya,
If one takes shelter of a devotee such as Prahlad,
if one takes shelter from devotees such as Prahlad,
Rati,
Rati,
attachment.
attachment.
Translation by Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Maharaj Ambarisa was always engaged his mind in meditating upon the lotus feet of Krishna, his words in describing the glories of Lord, his hands in cleansing the Lord's temple, and his ears in hearing the words spoken by Krishna or about Krishna. He engaged his eyes in seeing the deity of Krishna, Krishna's temples and Krishna's place like Mathura and Vrindavan. He engaged his sense of touch in touching the bodies of the Lord's devotees. He engaged his sense of smell in smelling the fragrance of tulasi offered to the Lord, and he engaged his tongue in tasting the Lord's prasada. He engaged his legs in walking to the holy place and temples of the Lord, his head in bowing down before the Lord, and all his desires in serving the Lord 24 hours a day. Indeed, Maharaj Ambarisa never desired anything for his own sense gratification. He engaged all his senses in devotional service in various engagements related to the Lord. This is the way to increase attachment for the Lord and be completely free from all material desires. Purport by Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. In Bhagavad Gita 7.1, the Lord recommends Maya asakta manaha pritha yogam yunjan mad ashraya. This indicates that one must execute devotional service under the guidance of a devotee or directly under the guidance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is not possible, however, to train oneself without guidance from the spiritual master. Therefore, according to the instruction of Srila Rupa Goswami, the first business of a devotee is to accept a bona fide spiritual master who can train him to engage his various senses in rendering transcendental service to the Lord. The Lord also says in Bhagavad Gita 7.1, Asamsayam samagram mam yatha gyanasyasi tat shrinu. In other words, if one wants to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead in completeness, one must follow the prescriptions given by Krishna by following in the footsteps of Maharaj Ambarisa. It is said, Rishikena Rishikesa Sevanam Bhakti Ruchate. Bhakti means to engage the sense in the service of the master of the senses. Krishna, who is called Rishikesha or Achyuta. These words are used in this verse. Achyuta Satkathodaye Rishikesha Padavipandane. The words Achyuta and Rishikesha are also used in Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is Krishna Katha, is spoken directly by Krishna, and Srimad Bhagavatam is also Krishna Katha because everything described in Bhagavatam is in relationship with Krishna. Srila Prabhupada.
Yeah.
So from this verse we can realize that Ambarisha Maharaj was a great king. He had the whole entire universe consisting of entire world. But he said that in verse 17, this entire universe, he take this universe as an insignificant as a piece of stone. And I was when we try to put in comparison with our worlds today, we are everyone, most of everyone is hankering, not devotees, devotees are after Krishna, but most of the people are hankering to gain wealth, success, fame, to accumulate so much more, because people think that with all this accumulation and chasing, we will get some kind of fulfillment. But here, by seeing the example of Ambarisha Maharaj, we see that the real satisfaction and the real fulfillment is not in the pursuits of happiness in outside, but making Krishna the center and everything. That gives the real satisfaction. We learned that from the example of Ambarisha Maharaj, because he had everything. And people expected him to rule as a king and expand his emperor and take other responsibilities in taking care of other people. He had so many responsibilities, yet he was so surrendered without undeviation, unshakable faith and surrender in Krishna. He stayed focused. It didn't all this wealth and fame and prestige, love, it didn't affect his consciousness. So most of the time, Krishna knows what we are capable to do and what we need to ultimately go to surrender to his lotus feet. We may, at this level, we may want some fame, recognition, wealth, but Krishna, if he is not giving, that means it might deviate us from the path. Because to those who he gave this, we saw from their example, they used everything they have received from Krishna as as a gift of Krishna, which they had to take care so nicely in order to serve Krishna, not for their own sense gratification. And here in the next verse, here in this verse we see that he was very he was devotee of personality of Godhead, also the saintly person who are the Lord's devotees. And we can understand from this what is real position of the devotees. We sometimes may think devotees are ordinary. Okay, there is Krishna and devotees. I want Krishna. Why do I have to serve the devotees? But through the examples of these great personalities, we see without devotees, we really can't go towards Krishna. He will not accept. So it's through devotees that we can approach Krishna. And one of the great devotees is our own spiritual master, the transparent medium, which will bring closer to Krishna, which will describe the qualities of Krishna. Our intelligence is so limited, we will not be able to understand unless Guru Maharaj and the pure devotees, advanced devotees, give the little realization which they achieved, accumulated to us. Unless it's not on our capacity to understand anything of Krishna, it's very high. And this verse is really uttama adhikari. What to say? I am sitting in the message and I'm so sorry to speak. I'll just repeat, because in Shastra it said just by repeating the scriptures, the words of the great personalities like Ambarish Maharaj and the devotees, Gurudev, we purify our consciousness, and this purification brings closer to the realization of who is Krishna. What this text verses really want, what they want us to understand, what's the message we can get. Unless we have a certain purification, we can't understand the message which Krishna wants us to understand. And these three verse, these are blueprint of how we can use our mind and body on Krishna's service. This shows us that bhakti is not something just theoretic theory or just philosophy. It's like its importance lies in its practicality. It's all about it's not passive, it's active and practical. So here, through the example of Ambarish Maharaj, we see how all the senses of his body, every limbs of his body, all of his body and mind, how he engaged in Krishna's service. So we see his mind is meditating upon the lotus feet of Krishna. We say that mind is the king of all the senses, is the root of our consciousness. So if mind is constantly thinking of Krishna, we are putting on our consciousness, even it's hard in the beginning, that Krishna. If we are able to at least put on mind Krishna, because this is the king of all the other senses gradually will follow the mind. The mind follows the intelligence, and the intelligence follow which we call the consciousness, which is consciousness is the symptom of the soul. So if we talking of hierarchy, mind is like on the highest platform compared to other senses. So through mind we can engage other senses easily and in Krishna's service. So after mind, what he does, he's using his words to describe the glories of Lords. We have seen in our own examples also how words can uplift someone and like degrade someone, and how it can affect our consciousness. It's deeply rooted. All the things we have had think of, we have had read, we have had spoken, they have left all like so many impressions on our mind, and we are the results of all that accumulation now. We don't realize it. It's just not one life, but so many lifetimes. The sanskaras, the impressions, long-lasting impressions on our subconscious are created, and our subconscious mind guides towards certain activities, which in results it's creating our personality or character. We don't like really think this how deep it is, but it's all so related and it's go deeply. Everything we do, speak and think. In modern science nowadays, in neuroplasticity, there is something called neuroplasticity. Continuously, if you do certain things like with repetition, and gradually the brain itself rewire. You don't need to do much effort after. In the beginning, you have to put extra effort, like extra consciousness and be mindful. But after a time, it's become an automat, because it goes on subconscious mind, and this is subconscious mind which is guiding our activities in like daily life, without we are being like conscious. This is all the subconscious mind, and how the subconscious mind is formed through all the activities we are getting through the senses, like what we are seeing, to whom we are speaking, what kind of words we are speaking, what kind of surroundings we are, what kind of things we are reading or hearing. All that accumulation are like a programming in a subconscious mind, like guides our character, forms our personality. So here it's a very practical verse. How we can like really apply this in a practical life. How we like really can. We always say put Krishna in the center. What does that mean? Put Krishna in the center. Most of the time we have that illusion. If you meet some Indian students, they will say, okay, bhakti, it's like when you can practice that after, like when you fulfilled all the desires. Now you have very good career. When you grow old, you'll practice bhakti. They, like most of the people have this illusion that to practice bhakti, to surrender everything to Krishna, you have to leave and renounce everything and go to the forest. But Ambarish Maharaj is like very like perfect example. It's not at all. Just he was a king. He had so many responsibilities. He had to take care of so many his rule, like to whom he ruled, so many people. Yet he was so surrendered and centered in Krishna. Nothing could deviate him from that path. So whether you be, it's not that you don't need to be a renunciant or you can be a king. Like it depends on what kind of tendencies and nature you have. If you are better being a king in Grihastha, then you better serve in that category. If you are better renunciate, then you better serve in renunciate. So sometimes Maharaj give this example. There is two boy. One asked the spiritual master, "What should we do? Should I go to should I renounce everything and go to meditate to the forest, or as a very wealthy person I should live in this world as a king? I should rule." And the master said to one brother, "You go to the forest, renounce the life, and to other brother, you rule." And because the other brother who wanted to go to renounce, he thought the renouncement is higher than being in this material world, being in a grihastha ashram and trying to follow certain regulation. He thought that way. So he wanted, and so just to, then he sent him, "Okay, you go renounce." But the person who went to renounce, his mind was most of the time focused on the material objects, like material comforts. His mind was meditating even if he was on the forest. But the brother who was like really as an instruction of his spiritual master, he started to rule, but his mind was fully surrendered. Just we see in the example of Ambarisa Maharaj. So in this case, just being renunciant, externally renouncing everything, going to the forest is greater, or being in this world amidst all the chaos and attachments and desires here in this material world, but keeping our consciousness focused. It's like a lotus flower. It's not disturbed by what it's around it. It's a muddy, filthy water around it, but it shines so beautifully, the lotus flower. Just like this, even if we are in this chaos, if we can put this into practice, how Maharaj Ambarisa had shown us, we can become that lotus flower where Krishna will be our anchor for everything. He will be that center. And here we have this example, and how we can use our words to preach, to do kirtana, how we can use our eyes to see the deities, and how we can use our legs to go to visit Krishna's temple or Krishna's place. Bhakti Saraswati Maharaj said that every step you are taking toward Krishna's temple, all of your past karma is being erased. And how powerful it is. Just going to visit temple or pilgrimage, it's not just about external activity. It's bringing an inner transformation. Because why we go to temple or pilgrimage? Because there are devotees of the Lord. There is Lord also, and being in the association of devotees, it deepens our faith. Just by seeing them, by being with them, by serving them, our attachments towards Lord increase, our attachment towards devotees increase. And this is the secret of success in spiritual life. If we are attached to devotees, or sincere devotees, advanced devotees, whether it be our spiritual master or other devotees who are like our acharyas, we are sure they will bring us where we need to be. We can't by our own efforts, or relying on our karma, our efforts, or good birth, high intelligence. It will not work. We have seen many times the example. So we need someone who is very strong and to whom we can rely on, lean on, and this way I will reach to my destination. If I don't quit, it's like it's life. Sometimes we can imagine like a train. The train is moving on, as long as, and this train can represent inside everything, the train, the devotees. And we are inside this train with all the devotees. As long as the train is moving and the devotees are inside and we are with them, ultimately maybe it may be slow, but ultimately if we don't get out of that train, we will reach our destination. And being attached to the devotees, our spiritual master, bona fide spiritual master, without with blind eyes, you can fully take deep breath and fully rely and lean on him. I am on the right path. I don't need to do any efforts. He will just bestow all the mercy, just trying to please him, please devotees, please the spiritual master in whatever way we can, and we are sure to reach the destination. how speaking, what else, everything, how bowing down to the Lord can signify we are surrendering our false ego, our pride in front of the deities, in front of the devotees, in front of our spiritual master, by accepting I am nothing, I do not have anything, I am completely full, and now I'm begging your mercy, and when you fully, in that mood, we should bow down. What does a real paying obeisances mean? This is I am a fool. I do not have anything. Complete. Giving all the self pride, ego, what we have accumulated, what we have, the concept we have accumulated, giving and also this bowing down has some physiologically speaking benefits also. When you bow down, it lowers our blood pressure, and like in Vedic scriptures, everything that is given has very good benefits spiritually. Yeah, it will make us more humble and grateful, but also materially there are some benefits always. Krishna doesn't leave us just do a spiritual part. We need our body to serve Krishna, we need our body to serve devotees, so in that way it's even beneficial, lowers blood pressure. And also there was an experiment, the experiment was being done on the powers of words and waters, and I think it's we don't need the name, or something, very famous doctor, he made this experiment, and the waters, the words which you speak through, because of the influence of the words which were spoken, the molecular structure of the water was changed. And our body, as human beings, in general, 60% of our body is made of water. In male, there is 60%. In female, it's a little more, without going into details, but most of the parts, or most of our body is constituted as water. So can we imagine the impact of which words we are surrounded by, which words, what kind of words we are hearing, and what kind of words we are speaking, how it can affect our just not mind, our consciousness, but our body also. It's deeply philosophical and scientific and psychological. So if we constantly, most of the time in association, speaking only the glories of Krishna, chanting the holy name of Krishna, all of our body, all our constitution, all the molecular cell, everything is like the structure and the cells has been it's being modified, and for a good reason. This will help our surrender, our practice of bhakti, our surrender, to develop our surrender faith. So in the beginning stage, how we have to consciously make this effort to be around devotees, to speak, even if our mind wants to see something, think of something, but not of Krishna, think of other things, not of our spiritual master and devotees, speak other things, not of Krishna, or see some movies or some distractions. Everything is there, but we consciously choose. And because of that neuroplasticity of the brain, through time, gradually, we will not have to make extra effort. The more time it goes, the more it will become easier, and it will become spontaneous. And also keeping in mind we always need the mercy of devotees, we always need the mercy of Krishna. Whatever we are doing, it's not where you are doing and what you are doing, but in which consciousness and mood you are doing everything. Here Ambarish Maharaj is ruling the world, but in this consciousness, I am doing this for Krishna. It's not me. If he wants, he will take it in the blink of an eye. If he wants to give me, I'm just the caretaker. He's the ultimate proprietor. Isavasyanidam sarvam. And we have to understand our mind. there's a verse in Yat Bhavam Tat Bhavati. Your thoughts creates your reality. And this is very famous among the philosophers now. They think of what you think you become. This book, The Secret, which is very famous books. The law of attraction and everything. This is based on your thoughts. So this mind is very powerful. How we can use in becoming more surrender and deepen our faith to Krishna. We consciously try to think of Krishna, think of his devotees, think of service, whether it's cleaning. If we just keep in mind, I'm doing this for Krishna, I'm walking for Krishna, to go to Harinam, to go to temple, to go to Vrindavan, in whatever activities we are doing, in smelling the flowers or smelling the scent which we receive after Mangalarati. It's all reminds of our Krishna, and this will make our life easier after, because once it's in subconscious mind, our life will be guided by that. But in the beginning, we have to make an extra effort. I think, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, if you surrender to me, you don't need to fear. And every time a devotee is prayed with tears, with sincerity, with full dependency on Krishna, he always came. It's not like he will promise and he will not come. Do we really believe in his promises? Do we really have faith in the words of the Shastras, in the words of our spiritual master? Do we really have? Can we fully trust his plans and without trying to speculate, this is what I want, this is what my desire, maybe I should do that. This is the fear, especially on neophyte level in which I am. Most of the time I'm just the tsunami of doubts and the peer pressure, external pressure. It's just overwhelming, and in this moment of our uncertainties, sometimes we may lose hope. But being with devotees and hearing the Srimad Bhagavad katha gives us hope. Actually, so many cases. In this case, Durvasa Muni, because he could, Ambarish Maharaj could have feared Durvasa Muni. When he cursed him, it could be the end, but he didn't see it that way. He saw this challenge as a blessing to more with utter dependence to call out Krishna's name, to really fully surrender unto him. If he wants to protect me, he will. Just in this case of Ambarish Maharaj and Durvasa Muni, these doubts, these fears, the fears of making the wrong choice, the fears of missing out something good in outside world, we can compare to this Durvasa Muni, which is trying to test us. Maya will always, as long as we have some kind of desires and attachments, she will throw some things which we may be interested, which have desires or attachments. No, she will try to find a loop always to pull down. But if we see, take this example, Durvasa Muni, all these doubts, and it's Durvasa Muni, we're just trying to test me. I shouldn't be fearful. In this case, what did Ambarish Maharaj and all the great devotees did Prahlad Maharaj when he was challenged by his father, surrendered to Krishna? And Draupadi, when finally she left, it's because in the beginning she was holding with one hand, hoping she will be saved by her own efforts. Or she had 5 husbands. We say husband are protector, he will protect you. But she had 5 husbands. They were not very qualified. But if Krishna doesn't want to protect you, no matter how qualified husband or how qualified wife you have, it's just all useless. They have very wonderful qualities, but when she was in the utmost need, only Krishna could help her. And when she finally, she left deep 2 hands, without relying on her own efforts, then finally Krishna came and she finally surrendered. This is our case also. Sometimes we think maybe I made a wrong choice. If I choose that career, I may better serve in that way. This is our constant research. Maybe we are trying to find something better than Krishna. which is just an illusion, but we don't realize. I'm just speaking so I can realize myself, because most of the time when I have pressure of family, parents, friends, why are you staying in the temple? Go follow your career. I was like lost. Maybe I did something wrong. I could do something better. Maybe I could serve Krishna in other way, better way. But okay, the thing is not where you are serving, but in which consciousness you are serving, and how you are serving, in which mood. So I like, depending now, okay, if Krishna wants me to go to follow certain path or career, he will guide through devotees or through spiritual master. Just whatever, now just the prayers is like wherever you send, just we be always in association of devotees, and may we never forget you. Like all the devotees prayed, all the great devotees prayed. Doesn't matter whether we serve in the temple fully or in outside working during the day, we can offer everything to Krishna. It's the matter of consciousness of what we do. So Krishna will always protect. He say in Bhagavad Gita 9:22, if you surrender, worship me with love and devotion, I will preserve what you lack, and I will preserve what you have. So he will fulfill his promises. We have seen on the example, through the examples of great devotees. And our own Srila Prabhupada lived the example of Ambarisha Maharaj with full surrender. He went preaching, he preached, he wrote books, so we could associate with him through his books. And through his surrender, his faith in Krishna, now we have ISKCON, which has become a worldwide success, a miraculous success in just few years, because he was so surrendered. Everything he did was only for Krishna, and he never leave his devotees alone. When you are fully, sincerely and surrendered. This is the example, easy to say, but we can be inspired by these examples. And this is just, there are thousands and thousands in our now modern also very world, like of that of Prahlad Maharaj or Gajendra, whether it be Vritasura, who was a demon, and just by hearing, he awakened his love for Krishna. You know, the power of words, power of hearing. That's why we say Saravanam, the beginning of our spiritual life. So let's pray. Krishna never leaves us alone, and he always guides us through thick and thin, ups and downs, keeps us always in the association of devotees. Maybe some devotees would like to correct or give some comments. Yes. I was not
as you said that, Krishna always fulfills his promises. It is mentioned in Bhagavatam also, many times he doesn't fulfill his promises also.
He fulfilled his promises.
As you said, Krishna always fulfills.
This is what I have heard and we read in Bhagavatam.
But in Srimad Bhagavatam also, it is also mentioned that he doesn't fulfill many of his promises also. He promised Vrajavasi that I will come, he didn't came.
To whom?
Vrajavasi that I will come back. A lot of people, he said that I will come back, but he was always there is a fear that whether in my case he will fulfill or not. So he likes to play with the devotees too much. So what to do?
Actually, we through my thin understanding and what I have heard from the advanced devotees, Krishna is like a master chess player. He in which moves at what time he's making may not make sense to it right now, but ultimately, the win is when you the master chess player, how the chess is played. In the when you are playing, you may not know where you are, whether you are going to be successful or not. But every step is very careful. Ultimately, his focus is not to give us what we desire, but what is ultimately good for us. So whether it be in reciprocating with our desires, or whether it be keeping us in separation. You get this example of Braja Gopis. He said he could have come, but that wouldn't have deepened their faith and surrender and love to Krishna that much if he had stayed there. And now we glorify gopis. There is no highest devotion than that of gopis towards Krishna. How did they become like this? Because Krishna has put them in such circumstances, they became that way. And now we remember it after 5,000 years back, the glories of the gopis, how they were surrendered. And like it's like when you this stone is a process of like transforming in the diamonds goes through lots of pressure. If the pressure is not there, it wouldn't have become the diamond. In order to make that become that beautiful diamond with shiny and bright, has to go through painful transformation. And most of the time, devotees, Krishna will test us, no matter what we are, devotees or not. Even if you are in material world, he will test. Even if we are in the spiritual life, he will test. It's just the difference is whether we will take shelter of Krishna or not. Whether we will define the chaos, the uncertainties, doubts, difficulties of outside world, or we have that faith that whatever is Krishna doing, it's for my ultimate good. And this is the that's why in some cases he sees that okay, if I don't fulfill the promise, he will become more dependent and surrender to me. He will become what I want him to become. And sometimes he fulfills his promise because he sees in that case it will be more beneficial for that person. So this is how I understand and how I have heard. So it like he only thinks about our ultimate benefits, ultimate good. So I don't know if you are satisfied or some more questions. Maybe you would like to add something, other question? Or just correction or comments? Anything our realization for this verse? How we can implement this verse from Veris Maharaj in our daily life?
Yeah, I think this verse probably often mentioned it because Ambarish Maharaj was practicing the 9 anga of Bhakti. And this just little comment. When you read it, I was thinking of this
9 anga of devotional service. Yeah, we can use every thing, every parts of our body, thinking of Krishna. Even if we are working, it's so can offer our work for result to Krishna. Yeah, how wonderful it is. He allow everyone to, in whatever situation or condition we are, to like really, if we really want to put Krishna in the center, it is possible everywhere, isn't it? Whether you are working as a doctor or I don't know, as a sweeper in the street or in this thing in the temple, as a brahmachari, you can fully surrender with like without like disregard, like without not like really much focusing on what you are doing externally as a position or material accumulation. That's then we can glorify. If nobody has comments and question. Nobody has. Thank you.
Après, comme j'ai parlé français.
Parce que Bharat a toujours des questions. Ok. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. All glories to Gurudev. Hare Krishna.
I'll just give him what the
Yeah.